What's happened there, my recollection is that I was doing a number of different events, and people would come up to me afterwards and say, "You're amazing at remembering our people's names." And I would kind of say, "No, not really. All I know is I met you before the keynote presentation, and I mentioned your name in conversation, etc. And I mentioned Joe's name or Jose's name in conversation as well." But I began to appreciate the power of the name and just being recognized. So over a period of time, all of the elements were there. But then my job, and I think your audience's job as well, how do you package it? And as a speaker, I package anything that's got more than 2 points in it in an acronym, because it's easy to remember. And so exactly how I came up with the CHAPS acronym, I think it was probably just toying around with the various ideas, and I just struggling around, and yeah, CHAPS. And I know it's not a word that's used as much in the US as it is in the UK.
Yeah. Can you walk us through a time, either in your life or someone that you've helped apply this to, where they've utilized CHAPS, or even just the GAB process in general, where they've been able to go kind of from pain point to dream desire using that system?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got a text yesterday from forgive me now for a second. Can I find it now? I got a text yesterday from a client that I spoke to about 4 months ago. She is on vacation at the moment, and I put out a video yesterday about the power of a compliment. She's on my subscriber list, and she said she saw the video, and she said, "Conor, I really appreciate the concept you gave us a couple of months back. It's made a big difference to me. It's made a huge difference to my husband." Okay, and I was trying to find that text there, only came in yesterday, and I thought I showed it to my wife, and I said, "That's brilliant to get affirmation." And I actually went back to the lady and I said, "Thanks a million for the affirmation. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully we get some more business out of her." But for everyone, myself included, and I said this to my wife, I said, affirmation is just what makes it all worthwhile. So that's what the other example, if I could give you, then in a larger organization, is that I was doing something with a food company last year, large organization, and they had manufacturing plants in 4 different states in the Midwest. So I was doing work with their supervisors and team leaders there. Without going into too much detail, I've got testimonials from the HR VP saying that their retention levels increased by about 25%, which he says directly attributable to you. But one of the interesting things there, Dave, is that part of the exercises I do is when I ask, what do you want to be famous for? Now, I was dealing with people who are on the factory floor in messy, cold conditions in food manufacturing. And it's not a fun environment. So I was dealing with the supervisors and what's called the team leaders. And we'll be working through this, and I'd say, all right, what do you want to be famous for? And as part of the gift of gab, B is for behavior. So the exercise I give them is, I'd like you to come up with 3 attributes that you would like your work colleagues to say about you, the people who are reporting into you or you're giving orders to, etc., when you're not in the room. And with about 140 people, I think, over across the 4 different states that were the supervisors and team leaders, without exaggeration, over 100 of those little post-it notes had words like, what do you want to be famous for? Compassionate, kind, empathy. All of those words were consistently popping up. And here's the thing, Dave, tell me what job spec says that people should have empathy, be compassionate, and be kind. You'd be pushed to find anything. Maybe empathy pops up now and again. But the fact is that the things that the people they're working with want your boss or your leader to be is to listen to you, to be empathetic, and to show some compassion. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't critique them, coach them and have a go at them if things don't go right. But you've got to balance it. And that's another example of an organization. That was a much larger organization. The previous one I mentioned where the lady just sent me the text, that was for a healthcare group over in the West Coast. So they're just some particular examples of how it's worked.